Hey guys, this is Rado with PhoneArena, and today in this video we're gonna be taking a look at a bunch of iPhone XS and XS Max cases from some of the most prominent case makers out there. So we're going to start with the official Apple cases, seeing that those are probably quite popular. First up, we have this essential iPhone XS Max silicone case. Let's try it on. This is how you unpack it from behind. Take the case out. The best way to install it is to push it from both ends at the same time and then just slide it up, not like that, but like this. And there we have it, the silicone case. Now, the thing about this case is it fits really well. Like, you can see that it lines up perfectly with the side, so that's good. However, we found that it makes some of the buttons here not really clicky enough. For example, the power button, it kind of loses its tactility a bit. The other thing about it, this silicone finish here, it kind of has that nasty rubbery kind of soft touch feel, which some of you may like, others probably won't. So it's probably a good idea to give it a try before purchasing, if that's possible. Another thing with this case, I just put it in my pocket, took it out, and that's the result. So it's incredibly easy to get dust and other particles on it, and it's kind of, you know, annoying to always have to clean it like that. Our next case is the leather case. It's about $10 more expensive, so hopefully it's more premium, let's call it. It sure comes in a nicer box. So this is the leather case. It has this nice padding on the inside. It's very soft and nice. It comes in a bunch of really beautiful colors, like this deep blue color here. So it's again for the XS Max in that case. Let's install it. Pretty much the same technique. Push it from both ends. Fits it really well. I can see that it's just a bit bent here towards this curve, but it's not too much of a you know, imperfection. So it really looks good. This case, it looks and it feels good. Volume buttons, volume down is pretty good and clicky. Volume up is very stiff. Don't like it at all. Power button as well, almost no tactility here. What else about it? Just beautiful colors, buttons unresponsive. It feels good in the hand, but it's quite a bit slippery, this leather case, so keep that in mind. If you tend to drop your phone a lot, well, this case should probably save it, but it's really slippery. Now let's take a look at the leather folio case, again officially from Apple. They sell this for the iPhone X, XS, XS Max. It's a folio case. We have a bunch of protective stuff in here. Again, we have this nice soft padding on the inside. Nice classy colors here. Let's install the phone in the case. Again, same issue as with the other leather case, just slight bending here towards these other curves, but it's very slight, so it probably won't bother you. Two compartments here to store various things, cards maybe. Now this case is made from fine leather, nice stitching here, it's really nice. Being a folio case, it makes the phone just a bit bulkier, especially if you do place something inside here in these pockets. What I don't like about this case is that it has absolutely no mechanism to hold this lid in place. Absolutely no mechanism, so it's a bit finicky, you know. You have to play around with it and it's not the best thing. You know, the usual hardships of using a folio case. I mean, how do you use your phone? You need to hold it like that. It's not the most convenient thing. Volume buttons, decent here, at least on this unit. Power button, same deal, so a bit better than the previous cases that we tried in terms of button tactility. So that, guys, was the leather folio case. Now let's move to third-party ones. We have Spigen cases. These guys have a really tremendous lineup of different cases for the iPhone XS and XS Max. A lot of models. They usually gravitate towards the more protective stuff, but I've picked some which are a bit more elegant here, like this thin fit case. Thin fit case is just their normal plastic back shell from hard plastic. Has a nice finish to it. It's neither too hard nor too soft. So let's try it on. It's for the Macs. Very easy to install. Nice fit. The good thing about Spigen cases, they are very protective, as we said. This particular one has the buttons exposed, which I kind of like because they retain their original tactility and are easy to use. And there's also a nice cutout here for the silencer toggle. All cases do, but this one is bigger, so you can easily use that. You'll see in some of the other cases that there is a cutout, but it's really difficult to reach it. So Spigen cases, this is the thin fit. Let's take a look at some of the other ones. This one here is called the Liquid Crystal. Again, some of their more elegant cases. They have a whole bunch in their web store. This one is from soft silicone plastic thingy. Let's try it on. It's once again for the Macs. Removing this one. Let's see how it fits. It fits really well. We've picked just cases which are quite high quality, so all of them tend to fit very well. This one is no exception. You can see the cutouts here are pretty nice and precise. One thing I've noticed here is you can see on this case there are protective plastics here covering the buttons here as well, but they are very clicky, and that's a bit of a rarity with these cases. So Spigen has done some tech magic here, being able to retain the buttons clickiness, which is very nice. Again, the cutout here is pretty good, nice and wide, so you can easily reach your silence toggle. And finally, by Spigen, this is the Liquid Air case. This is how you unbox it. You pull this one here, take out the case. So Liquid Air case, again, soft plastic case, rubbery, but it feels good. It has this interesting triangle pattern here. This one for the Macs, once again. Let's put it on. And you can see these are actually models we have here for the iPhone 10, as it seems, because they have this longer cutout here, and you know the 10s and 10s Max have fewer holes here, but the cases are pretty much the same. Again, the same technology seems to be used for the button covers, so clicking those keys continues to feel good. This one seems to have a thicker bumper, so reaching the silence toggle here is not such an easy of a job with this particular case. Now let's continue with something special, the Pillowcases and the Totally cases. These guys seem to be almost identical in terms of design. Let's unbox some of them. So the thing about these Pillow and Totally cases are that they are exceptionally thin and light. The goal is to retain the nice slimness of the device, the portability, you know, the original feel that Apple has tried to achieve with their design, but still have some sort of protection going on. So here is the clear case, and this goes for both Pillow and Totally cases. You can get them in glossy finish and in matte finish, which is very nice. And they tend to cover the basic colors like gold, black, white. Some of them have rose gold. Totally, I think, has a blue one. So yeah, you can see this clear case. We've also already tried them, and I can tell you that the fit here is really nice. There is no curving around the edges or anything like that. You can see that the holes here line up absolutely perfectly, the cutouts. So that's very nice and precise job here. from this case maker. It does make the silencer toggle here just a bit difficult. You have to switch it with a nail, but the buttons are exposed here, so they retain their clickiness. So yeah, you can see that minimal protection, but it really retains both the look and the feel of the device. They almost kind of become one with the phone, so these ones we really like. Here's an example of a matte finish for the Pillowcase in brownish gold color. Easy to install, again, fits it perfectly. It perfectly traces the device along these curves here, and very precise cutouts for the microphone and speaker holes here on the bottom. So very nice job. Pleasantly surprised by these cases. The negatives, of course, you don't get to protect your phone that hard. I mean, it will protect from scratches and minor bumps, but I guess the chances of cracking a glass if you drop it probably remain pretty much identical as if you don't have the case. There's also this nice protective border here surrounding the camera, which is really a nice touch. And finally, about these cases, all of these pros and cons go for both the Pillow and the Totally cases. They are very easy to scratch. As you can see, I just scratched it, and once again. And these scratches are not going away, so you need to keep this in mind. That was the matte finish for the XS Max in gold. And there is also this very fun jet white color. If you ever wish to have an iPhone with a ceramic back, this is probably the closest you can get right now. If I can put it on. Ooh, yeah. Jet white color. Glossy finish in white. Again, fits really well. And you can kind of buy a bunch of those to easily swap the appearance of your device, because yeah, it almost looks like part of the phone. And now the Totally cases, almost identical to these one. If I can actually remove it, you can see that it fits really well. I'm having a hard time removing this case from the phone, so that must mean something. There we go. Pillowcase. So here are the Totally cases. They have different packaging, but what they offer again is almost identical to what Pillow has, except for some differences in the color variations. You can see this matte black semi-transparent case. Let's put it on. But in terms of materials, in terms of finish, they seem to be pretty much identical. Again, lines up perfectly here. This is how it looks. It's really nice. The matte finishes tend to be very slippery in the hand, unlike the glossy ones that they have. Let's take a look at something else. From Totally, you can see they also have this jet white, let's call it, or just polished white finish. Let's try to put it on. This is how it looks. Well, all of a sudden you have a XS in white, which is very nice. And now let's proceed with something tougher, which is this case from VRS Design. It's called the Layered Dandy, which is probably the best name you can give to an iPhone case. VRS Layered Dandy. The worst thing about it, however, is how it's packaged. This is probably the worst packaging for a case ever. It's very difficult to unbox it. It's this plastic box, and you have these clips here, these hooks that hold it tight from almost every end. So the way you go about unboxing it is you need to pull these hooks, which is not always the easiest thing, as you can see. Let's try to release them one by one. I hope you can catch this on camera, how difficult it is. Once you start going, actually, it's not that bad, but why do we even have to go through this? Really terrible packaging for an iPhone case. But the case itself is really nice. It's the VRS design layered dandy. It's a folio case. Throw this away. Nice plastic shell here, very hard and tough. A bunch of card slots in here and a pocket on the inside. The leather seems to be quite high quality, pretty nice. And it has that magnet design here. Remember the Apple official folio case that it was just floppy like that? It was terrible. This one solves this by having this magnet lock here. This one is for the smaller iPhone. Very easy to install, very nice. High quality case, leather. It kind of lives up to its name of layered dandy because it's a leather case and it has this eccentric red stitching here and red back shell. They have it in I think in a bunch of different color configurations, but this one is, well, quite dandy. Interesting thing about it, you have a speaker cut out here, so if you can answer the phone like that, maybe with wireless or hands-free, you don't have to always open it. Very nice magnet lock design. The buttons are exposed, which probably is the smarter way to go if you can't make button covers that remain clicky. Typical folio case issues in that it makes the phone hard to hold, a bit more difficult and inconvenient to use, but if that is what you need, if you would like that pocket space here, these card holders, this is a pretty nice case to go for. Next up, we have these guys, UAG, which stands for Urban Armor Gear. Now we have the same case. This is the UAG Plasma in black or dark gray or red. Let's try the more mainstream one, which is the black. You open it from the bottom here. This is the case itself. Obviously it is a heavy duty kind of thing, but I have to tell you that it feels quite good. I like the feel of the material here. It's a plastic material. This one, the outer edges are softer, but it has this rigid kind of skeleton going from end to end, which I guess gives it more structural rigidity, and this is how you install the iPhone in it. So this is how an iPhone XS looks in the UAG Plasma. Obviously not the most mainstream case out there, but if you drop your phone a lot, if you work or live in environments where there is a risk of dropping or breaking your phone somehow, this case is pretty good choice. The buttons on this one, the volume ones, are quite good. The power button is not really good, it's quite stiff. However, on the red unit that we tried, the power button was okay, so I guess it kind of varies from unit to unit. It has this distinctive look with these kind of horns here. It also has them on the bottom for some symmetry, we guess. Nice cutouts here. It extends all the way to in front of the screen here, so if you place it face down, you don't need to worry about scratching the display, as a really protective case should be. Of course, it makes the phone bigger as usual for such a case, but it feels good. It feels nice in the hand, maybe because it's more of a boxy shape, so it's easy to grab it, to handle it. It's not slippery because of all the geometry that's going on here. So really a nice choice if you're looking for a nice, rugged, strong case for your XS or XS Max. Now let's take a look at this, the Mojo case. These guys make high quality leather cases in a bunch of different natural looking colors. We have this olive green here. It's very reminiscent of Apple's own leather cases. This one has a wallet here on the back, in which you can pretty much insert just one or maybe two cards at most. High quality leather, same nice soft padding on the inside like we saw with the official Apple leather case, and same design. It has this exposed bottom area. Let's install the phone in. That's how it looks. Volume buttons are pretty good. They need a bit of force to be pressed. Power key loses some of its tactility, so it's not the best. If you look at the back here, it has this very nice authentic stitching going from one end to another, creating basically your this sleeve here. You can see even some of the imperfections here if you look closely in that. This is typical pretty much for leather products, and maybe it even kind of adds to the value of this authentic craftsmanship here. But maybe you should keep in mind for the long run that this might become a bit too loose. I'm not sure. Now it tends to go back to its usual state, but long term maybe that's not going to hold up too well, probably. They also have just a basic leather case without the sleeve as well. And finally we have the OtterBox Strada, which is a pretty nice leather folio case. Let's take a look. Our model is for the XS Max. As you remembered with the VRS design case, it was terrible to unbox. This one is similarly bad. It has this zip tie here, which goes to hold the case here. So it's very difficult to take it out. The good thing is that it's not the case itself that's attached with the zip tie. It's this plastic piece here. So if you kind of bend this and make it smaller, then you can also take the case out. It took us a bit of time to figure this out, but that's how this one works. So the OtterBox Strada, what we like about it is that it seems to be very protective. It's nice and strong around the edges. It has a strong bumper. It has that very nice magnet locking mechanism here on the front, keeping the lid closed, which is great. If you remember with the official Apple folio case, it was just this terrible thing dangling all around. This one has a small magnet which keeps it in place, which is a much better design. The other thing we like about the OtterBox Strada is how different it looks. With this pattern here, with the specific color and design elements, it just kind of has that more unique appearance to it, unlike most folio cases. The bad thing about it, stiff buttons, not really easy to press, and it also, like any folio case, doesn't make the phone very easy to use, because you always need to pay attention to how you handle the lid and so on. It's dangling around. The good thing is, if you bring it all the way to the back, the magnet holds it again, so it's a bit better in that respect from other folio cases. So that, guys, was our look at a bunch of iPhone XS and XS Max cases. Not just any bunch, of course, but a curated selection of some of the best models from some of the most popular case makers out there. I hope it was fun and I hope it was useful. For anything else, you know where to find us. PhoneArena.com is where we're at.